Hey everybody, how's it? Yeah, how do you like that? The King Crimson video that I did got blocked. I mean, completely blocked, not partially blocked. Sometimes you get partially blocked ones. I think it's funny. It's like Iran, Syria, North Korea, and another country. You know, a lot of be like arbitrarily like blocking those countries, or perhaps those countries have blocked YouTube. So maybe that's why I get a partial. And I don't know, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the Kashmir one I just put up doesn't get completely blocked either. But I'm going to take a different run at this than a lot of us do who do get upset. You know, you do a lot of work, you use a sample song from, let's say, Jimi Hendrix or the Beatles, or somebody who has a really tight kung fu grip on their estate and have the reasons why they don't want videos used in teaching. Some of us will just get all dilated and go into labor and just go, why? I don't understand. But I'm going to take a completely different look at this and just serve up my opinion based on my personal experience within my family. First, let's just start off with the basics. Why would a record company or a publisher want to block content? In the bigger scheme, when in today's day and age of social media, that's the way to get more or expand your audience to generations that are not familiar with it. I think one of the things that I'm pretty familiar with is that it's a generational thing, that a lot of the bands, it's two things. One is it could be a marketing reason to keep the integrity of the brand. As you know, you can only get this cup of tea if you go over here and you do this, you know. And the other one is, the estates that are blocking a lot of this aren't necessarily in need of money. So it could be, once again, integrity of the brand. And then the other thing is that the possibility is that the older generation that own the publishing for a lot of the bands or music that's getting blocked are struggling financially, and they don't know any other way to make the money outside of the royalties, the old school way of selling you product, which would be little 45s, albums, 8-track tapes, cassettes, CDs, and even MP3s. Cup of coffee, thanks for the tips. Now, I had mentioned before that I have a way I'm about to come at this because of personal experience, and it's within my family. So most of you know that I'm a third-generation composer. If you want to do a little homework about what I do, I don't like to talk about me and my family. Just go to the About page on YouTube, and I threw a few links there. My father and I are arrangers, and when we get hired to do work, especially my father, he's passed away about 8 years ago, we get paid to do a job and we leave. We don't get royalties, we get nothing. My father was busy enough to do nothing but constantly do orchestrating, conducting, and arrangements on many hit songs. If you look at his discography, I put his link there or something, or it's somewhere around there, you can see what he did. Never saw a dime of royalties except a couple of things that came around the corner. My uncle, on the other hand, he co-wrote a song, if you're familiar with Earth, Wind & Fire, called Fantasy. And it was him and two other guys at the band, and they wrote Fantasy. A lot of what my uncle's success financially has been is also getting royalties from the old school method of royalties off of sales, royalties off of radio, and royalties off of licensing. And the royalties off of licensing hasn't changed too much. Radio, it's kind of turned it out because of the internet. And then, of course, royalties because of sales really dipped, because what happened, obviously, is when the internet and digital, the digital world came in, it disintegrated the record company's industry down to 1/10. So hypothetically, as a square number, if a record company made $10 off of you buying a CD, what the digital world did is it said, well, I don't need to buy the whole CD, I don't have to buy the tangible good, I just want the little file, and that'll be 99 cents, thank you. So you might have a lot of people from the older school going, I don't know how this works, I don't want to deal with it or anything, and they don't want to go into monetizing via ads on YouTube, and they just go. And then also the streaming issue for a lot of the old schoolers is very, very difficult. It's a bitter pill to swallow. But my uncle got really ticked off because he had a few bazooka million plays of fantasy and got a check for 147, dollars or something, like, I don't know, something ridiculous. Had that same amount of plays been done on radio, you potentially could have bought another house off of that. Mariah Carey made a funny joke about that. Her Christmas song, just from the radio royalties back in the day, I think set up her great-great-great-granddaughter for, life or whatever. But for me, as a person who's venturing into this and is pretty new, getting struck down, I want to say to the King Crimson people in publishing, I understand and it's cool. I'm not angry. I think you folks have an understanding of how you want to handle and manage your intellectual property and your music. And I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, well, I'm trying to teach people about your music and stuff. The reality is I do understand, and I do feel as challenged as you do about where music has gone. Music has become social currency. If you know, that term is kind of like, a friend of mine said, well, I had a great conversation with a friend of mine in like 2001 about, oh my God, not Netscape, Napster and all, and then he just goes, hey, listen, Jeeps, music's becoming social currency. I said, what the hell's social currency? And he goes, this guy's a great guy. I love him to death. He's a friend of mine. He owns one of the publishing companies I write for. And he said, have you ever gone to a party and told a joke? I go, yeah, of course. And did people laugh at that joke? Well, if it was good, sure. You made them happy? That made you happy they laughed at your joke? Yeah. Did you write that joke? Well, no. Did the person who wrote that joke get any credit for writing that joke? No. Did he even make a penny for that joke? No. Social currency. It's not that music's becoming a joke. It's just no longer the core piece of intellectual property that's making money. It's now attached and affiliated with new things as we move forward in the digital age. Whether record companies are saying, well, if you can't beat them, join them, go ahead and run them up on YouTube, and let's just go ahead and do copyright claims, and let's just hit them with the advertising. If they don't like it, tough luck, let them go buy the stuff. And other many different ways now of remonetizing, a single file, a song. But as far as getting dinged and blocked by King Crimson Company, publishing and management, I'm cool with it, But unfortunately, that means I'm never going to do another King Crimson track, and which was too bad because it got up there to about 15,000 views in a couple of weeks with great response and people going, wow, I've never heard of this band, and I'm going to go buy some more stuff. But it's okay, I understand. There's more than enough music to go around. I want to thank the King Crimson management team and the band for all the unbelievable music that you've delivered, and it has so affected so many people's soundtrack of life. And should you decide later on in life that people can do these things, that's great. But if not, I have zero hard feelings about it. I completely understand, and it's going to happen to me from time to time, on music that I'll get completely blocked. But so that's just kind of my rant. I kind of went off in little side tangents and stuff, but and once again, thank you so much for the cup of coffee, guys. You guys are dropping like $1, $2, $5. I'm getting some crazy tips sometimes too, but nonetheless, thank you guys. And now after doing Kashmir and after doing this video, I'm gonna take a couple days and chill out, and I'll be back. So aloha. All right.